Alright, we're going to be watching Wabingus, who is playing Brigitte on Oasis, and this is Masters 4. My username is Wabingus. I just realized I asked you PC or console, and the very first thing you said was PC, so that's my bad. My username is Wabingus, currently Masters 4 after following from Masters 1, sorry to hear. My philosophy on Brigitte is generally to peel for my other support, along with zoning out and marking enemy flankers and pushing back their tank if possible. I try to avoid tanks, especially Rhine/Sumatra. I use Rally to save myself, save a teammate, or help my tanks to stand on the front line. I usually swap to BAP when we are really struggling for heals or if there's an enemy Pharah Echo harassing the team. I see BAP as a DPS support hybrid, and I always use the shoot-shoot-heal combo to maximize DPS and healing. That's great. I use Window mostly as a zoning tool unless I have a DPS to combo with. Sorry, this is a bunch of stuff about Baptiste, and we're looking at Brigitte, so I'm just going to skip this stuff. I have 2 losses, one on Oasis where I feel I can play relatively well, and a win on Eichenwald, which is not the game we're going to be watching. Alright, so on Oasis, I play Brigitte only here, no comms in this game. Right off the bat, I know that Mercy Brig isn't usually a good support combo, I would agree, but I've made it work before and feel that it isn't entirely unplayable, especially with Junker Queen as a tank. My main idea here was to keep the flanks clear and keep the enemy queen off her front line with whip shot. I feel like I managed to keep her in check for the most part, deny few ultimates, and help my tank out for the most part until they start getting walled every fight. Alright, so I've already pre-watched this game, and I can say that generally I think your Brigitte play looks good. I think there's definitely some mistakes that you make here in terms of your decision making, but I think the overall theme here is it's less about your mechanics in Brigitte and more so that you don't have synergy with your team / you don't have the tools to solve the problems that your team are facing, right? And that's really the key part of support is everyone's job is to win games, but support specifically have tools that help their teammates survive / deal with weird problems, right? You know, you have Zenyatta or Lucio Beat ultimates to deal with enemy DPS ultimates. You have Baptiste Lamp to save people from lots of things. You have Mercy Res, right? You have Whip Shot. You have Anti-Grenade. There's supports are just filled with tools that save their teammates / enable their teammates. So that's the whole point of support. So when you play Brigitte, right, who is kind of the anti-dive support, of course, and I think you generally understand her playstyle, but the question here is, does Brigitte here provide what you need in order to win this game, right? So in this particular game, you're going to be facing off against the Junker Queen, where you're like, oh, okay value. Her axe goes through your shield, but otherwise, like, you know, your whip shot's kind of useful. The problem is she's fast, which is an issue, because like, even if you knock her back, she can still kind of run through it pretty quickly. Genji, who I'd say you provide very good value against, and then Mei, who I think you provide terrible value against. She can both wall you off, she can wall your tank off. It takes you forever to get through her wall, right, to break your tank out because you do so little damage. Knocking her back doesn't really do a whole lot. So I think that their general lineup, the Junker Queen you're okay against, Genji you're good against, and everybody else you're like bad against, right? The Kiriko, the Moira are not people that you particularly interact with. So this is not a scenario where I'm like, man, Brigitte is great. Can you start Brigitte here? You could, but at least I would be playing Brigitte here. I'd be looking at my team, being like, look, obviously you don't know what the enemy lineup is when you start the game, but at least do I synergize with my team's lineup? Well, looking at my team, Junker Queen is a medium greedy healing tank, right? Like high greedy tanks would be like Reinhardt, Orisa, Zarya, right? You know, Junker Queen's in the middle, along with, let's say, Doomfist. And then you look at low healing tanks, like, for example, Ball, right? Ball's like one of the lowest, Roadhog's another one who needs very little healing. So I look at this, I'm like, okay, well, like, the Junker Queen needs basically a regular share of healing, a little less than a regular share of healing. Cassidy needs a lot of healing, right? He's typically pocketed often, because he has a lot of healing. And Sojourn is typically pocketed as well. So the Mercy's going to be pocketing either the Cassidy or Sojourn, depending on the situation. I'm going to need to cover for both the Junker Queen and then probably the Cassidy, and the Mercy's going to pocket the Sojourn. That's a lot to ask from a Brig, right? It's not impossible by any means. It depends how safely your Junker Queen plays, but it's definitely not easy. And since you already play Baptiste, I think Baptiste is great here, right? In this situation, you have all of these hit scan heroes that can make use of Window. Your Junker Queen, you know, is very quick, can get you out of situations, and then obviously you're eventually going to realize there's a Mei, who Baptiste is probably one of the best supports to play against Mei, because you can jump over the wall, you can lamp people through icicles, you can just straight up kill the Mei to prevent her getting in position, etc., etc. So let's just kind of watch this first fight play out. You can go forwards, this is fine, right? I think your general, so one of the great things about looking at a Masters player is I don't talk through all the basics of positioning, right? I think you generally know where you should be at pretty much all the time, right? So I'm not even going to comment it, because I think you're generally in the right spots. one little note here is I would be careful with the packs. Even understanding that, hey, you're the quote-unquote main healer here and you're going to be pocketing the tank, I would be careful with your packs, especially knowing that Junker Queen has regen and knowing that the other support is a Mercy. So I really need to make sure I see packs. You're already down 2 of your 3 packs. The Junker Queen's barely taking any damage. I would just be looking to hit Inspire here and use my passive 15 health a second aura to heal the Junker Queen. I don't want to throw the packs. Like, first back, okay. After that, I do not want to throw packs unless I absolutely need to. Yep, so good whip shot there. You see the wall off, but it should be okay. Mei goes on you right away. You decide to shield bash her. This is kind of an interesting call here. I don't play Brigitte versus Mei enough to know whether or not this is the right call. As a general rule for shield bash, basically all high-level Brigs say do not use shield bash for damage unless it's gonna kill somebody and you're gonna live. This is a situation where it's like 50-50, like what's gonna happen here. So I think my instinct would be to not shield bash here and to just swing. Right? Swing, pop shield, right? You know, if I need to, like swing, etc. versus shield bashing right away. It does cause her to walk backwards, which might be good in and of itself. This is tricky, right? I'm just noting I don't actually know what the right call here is, so I'm not going to tell you this is wrong, but I don't know that this is definitely the right call to shield bash. And that might have made a big difference in terms of you not having mobility to get back over here and help your team out. In this scenario, it's not going to make a difference, but I would just note that I'm not actually sure if this was the right call. I definitely do not think it was the right call to pursue. Right? Once you did this, you see how she's walking back to the Mega? Great, I would just let her. At this point, I just shield, walk back as soon as she turns the corner, I turn back and look at the rest of my team. Because I'm sure something else is a higher priority than me trying to chase the Mei. It's impossible for me to kill the Mei, right? There's literally no way either of us can kill each other, so that's fine. I should go back to doing something else useful, like healing my team. The Mei is wasting her time right now playing on the off angle. But you, not being out of position, right? You're too far away. You should be all the way over here by now, which is what I would have done. Allows her to get multiple icicles into your side, right? So you make the right call, which is to not chase her or engage with her in any way. You're trying to help your Junker Queen out. Yeah, don't chase her. You see the Genji, try to peel a Genji. I would have checked who he dove to make sure nobody needed to pack. But overall, I mean, your team just kind of rolls them and it's fine. And Cassie just kills everybody. Great. So, out here, this is going to be your first big mistake, right? Remember, my mindset right now is my Mercy's going to be pocketing the DPS. There's no reason to believe my Mercy's going to be pocketing the tank here. Right? That is a huge mistake, especially if you understand the Cassie just killed like the whole team. There's no reason the Mercy should be pocketing your tank. You need to be pocketing your tank here. So I'm thinking, protect the tank, protect the tank, protect the tank. I also understand my tank is way too deep. Okay, my tank is very, very, very far up and potentially overextended, especially with a knife pull. Okay, so I need to make sure that I am ready to save this, especially knowing that they have Junker Queen, who's very fast and can rush comp, can run over your Junker Queen really quickly. Okay, and they also have Mei wall. And I need to make sure if my Junker Queen gets walled, I need to be on her side of the wall, or I need to be on top of the wall to make sure the Junker Queen lives. Very, very important. Supports have to play differently against Mei, right? Understanding that she will lock out the healing. And everyone could say, oh, the tank should play differently. The tank can't always play differently, right? Like, sometimes it's physically not possible because of the terrain, A. B, tanks make mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes. So I'm going to try to cover up if my tank does make a mistake and gets walled, overextended. She's going to get critical right now. It's crazy to me that you are not out there. You see how your Mercy's already reacted? It's like, oh, shoot, I got to go save the Junker Queen. You're playing way too far back. There's no one back here. There's no flankers. You should be out here, right? Saving your Junker Queen. Is she overextended? She 100% is. But for the record, she got pulled in with a knife. Should she have been far enough to get pulled in with a knife? No. Again, mistakes happen, but letting your Junker Queen die is a fatal mistake, right? So you're too slow to get out here, right? You see your Mercy's already out there because she's like, oh, what the heck? Why is your Junker Queen not getting healed? Missing that whip shot is also really bad. You really need Inspire right now when people are low. So chilling. I don't think this whip shot goes far enough, is my gut instinct here. Yeah, so I think this is just short. Exactly. My read there when you threw it was like, I think this is just short, and it is correct. So if you play enough Brig, right, Brig is, I would say, not one of my main heroes, but definitely one that I still throw into rotation for supports. I play her enough that I knew that wasn't going to be far enough, and I knew I needed to take another step forwards, which is why you missed. It was on target, but you were not far enough. There's no reason to be taking cover right now. Like, I would just always be jiggling because I want you to know what's going to happen. Especially when shout happens, the fight can end very quickly. So I don't want to be hiding behind this and have no idea what is going on. I need to see like right away when the move happens to be able to react. At high levels, right, which I know you should understand from playing like Masters 1 when you play in the GM. I'm sure you played some GM games if you're Masters 1. The game goes so fast. People die literally in under a second, right? I can't be sitting here behind this pole, like, not seeing what's about to happen when I'm full health and I have no danger of being one-shot, right? If they have Hanzo, that's a different story, right? If they Widow, they're a different story. But, like, over here, when you're full health, you're a Brig, like, there's no reason you're going to die here. So, if my Cassidy High Noon's here, I immediately shield bash and step in front of him. Why? If my Cassidy is High Nooning, I assume he sees a play. Like, he sees something here that he thinks is going to result in the play. So I might as well commit to it with him, right? Because if the Cassidy doesn't see, it makes a mistake here, right? And he's going to die here, I might as well block as much damage as I possibly can and potentially save his life. If Cassidy dies, we probably lose. Mercy's not going to get a res in this position. So I would immediately trust my teammate and be like, okay, teammate's making the right play, jump forward. Like, I obviously don't see it, but like maybe he sees it. Shield bash, immediate support. I think that's a good instinct to have as a support, right? You're slow getting out there. Again, like if they were playing an Honor or something, you could have been slept, then naded, and then dove and killed, right? But obviously it doesn't happen here, but I'm noting this because habits are important, right? Having good habits. So, Junker Queen's going to die here so fast. She's full health, and then she dies. Well, whose fault is this? Is it Junker Queen? Yeah, there's no reason for her to be playing out here, especially understanding the Mei was on the right side. Like, she could get walled off here or whatever, right? But there's no reason for her to be playing out here, number one. But number two, again, mistakes happen, right? She's trying to get some pressure. She can't really put any pressure from here, so she's trying to put some pressure on this corner, though realistically she should have been playing tight to the corner if she was going to do that. But you, remember, as we said, your job is to keep the tank alive in this lineup. If you're running an Ana or a Moira or a Baptiste or whatever, your job is to keep the DPS alive. But in this lineup of a Mercy, you should be the one keeping your tank alive. I cannot emphasize this enough. Like, it just doesn't feel like you know that. Like, it doesn't feel like you've internalized that my job is to keep the tank alive. So number one here is that you're going to break LOS with the tree, which seems like such a small thing, but it's not, because she's already down. She was already down like 50 health, and I would have thrown that pack right then, understanding that this is a high danger area, and she could die very quickly. A. B, then you go for the whip shot here, despite the fact that she's already getting low right now. Like, I see her taking damage. Right. So I see deflect up, right? Deflect's in danger. I would be throwing a pack right now. There's no reason to be throwing whip shot, right? You can see that you clearly have not thrown the whip shot. She's already taking the damage. Now you throw whip shot too late. And now she gets shredded and dies. Again, this starts from a Junker Queen's mistake, right? And probably somebody who shot the deflect is my guess. But regardless, this should have been a save, okay? If you were just playing in an angle where you could see the Junker Queen, no problem, right? If the tree wasn't in the way, right? If you didn't throw the whip shot, you easily pack and save the Junker Queen, and this fight is winnable. But as a result, you didn't, so everybody's got to pull back. The good news is your team, everyone understands the situation, everybody pulls back to the point, which is the correct call. Right, you step forward, try to save the Sojourn. She's clearly out of position. She's probably the worst player on your team based on the fact that she's so late getting out, and she can't navigate the map backwards. All right, Junker Queen, or rather, Genji dives in. You pop rally right away. I think this is an okay rally, right? Understanding the situation. So this is a 4-on-5 situation. Your Cassie's going to die before, or Cassie's going to get a kill right away. Cassie's clearly the best DPS on your team, right? Probably the best player on your team. So you're going to pop rally here, and then probably, you know, try to stall, try to win, whatever you can get. From my perspective, knowing my Junker Queen's down is I'm probably just trying to stall here. Like, I'm probably not trying to make a big play and try to go in for a kill, because we're down one until the Cassie kills one. But I definitely don't want to be facing off against the Junker Queen, because Junker Queen can still mess me up really bad with Axe. So you should be saving, in this situation, knowing the Junker Queen's coming in, saving whip shot for when she goes at you. Well, I guess you popped it for rally, for shout, which I think is fair. But then, how does she get pulled in here? Oh, she rampages. That's what happens. So, I think she shouts, whip shot. As soon as you hear rampage, the correct call would have been to bash out, but it's tough because you rally at the same time, so I don't think you can animation cancel that. So, I think you're in a tough situation here. But you bash her out of it, actually, which is a great play, a phenomenal play. I didn't even realize this happened. Okay, yeah, this is actually a phenomenal play, stopping Rampage right now. So I think that's actually a great play. So from here, my perspective is just stay alive, right? All I do is stay alive, and we're in great shape. I already canceled an ultimate. I have rally up, right? We have excellent sustain here. Nobody's dealing with the Mercy. Just stay alive. So they are grouping up on this side of the point, because again, the Sojourn is a threat. I don't know where your Cassidy is. Oh, well, way in the back for some reason. Your Mercy's alive. You have rally, everyone's going to be regrouped here, but no one's going to die here, right? You're a very low damage lineup, especially if you don't know where the Cassidy is. It's just the soldier in here. Mercy's pocketing you, obviously, to keep you alive. There's no damage coming out. No one's going to die here. Like, there's 0% chance anyone's even going to die. If I keep them all four on the other side of the point, that's great value here with the rally. Literally, if we both just stand on the opposite side of this and my rally finishes, great, excellent. You did your job. You can't possibly do more in this situation. Unfortunately, that's not what you're going to end up doing. So you're going to dive in with this, you do that AoE bash, and then you try to commit to kill 4 people on the opposite side of the pillar, right? So you notice your Mercy's like, hey, what the heck? Because your Mercy was clearly not expecting this either, right? Your Mercy's doing the correct thing, which is trying to go back and pocket the DPS, because she sees you're safe, right? You're safe, you have rally up, you have cover, there's and like a full shield, there's no reason the Mercy should keep pocketing you, so she's going to swap over to the Sojourn, which is the correct call, and then you bash in, and you see the Mercy's going to turn, and then be like, oh, what the heck is the Brig doing? This is a throw, right? Like, obviously it wasn't intentional, but I'm saying, like, this is like a big time mistake. And if you're Masters 1, right, if you're Masters 1 Brig, Masters 1 Brig don't make this mistake, right? This is a really bad play. Like, you're not situationally understanding. Like, all you do is stay alive here. You have point control. Like, you should understand, like, this is not payload, right? This is control. Time is everything. Right? Time is everything. So much more important than it is on payload. Just staying alive here, even if you eventually die here and you buy another 30%, great. We'll take it. You know? Like, you don't have a tank here anyway. Anything you get here is icing on the cake already. So all you have to do is stay alive here, but instead you engage 4 people. They're on all sides of you. You obviously can't shield it. Dragon goes up, and then she's going to finish you off with the axe swing. But again, as a reminder, using shield bash offensively really is quite dangerous. You would need to make sure that whenever you shield bash, you're going to live through it. This is not the time where I would shield bash forward. All right, 1, 0. I see 4 people. I do not shield bash into this. Right? This is not the correct read. And I certainly, after shield bash, should not be walking forwards. Like, shield bashing and attacking, walking backwards, whip shot and Jungle Queen, that would have been fine. But like this, trying to engage deep, try to kill support, like this, it's mathematically impossible for you to kill the Kiriko, right? The Moira can easily out-heal all of your damage. Like, it's not literally impossible. So, very, very bad read. Costs you the fight. By the way, if you survive there, I'm pretty sure you just completely win this game. Like, you just win the first point, and then since you won the second point, you would have just won right there. So, small things add up big. All right, regrouping. So, and you see Genji Blade here. Interesting thing about Genji Blade is, what do we do in this situation? Holy Shift Kid, and I'll give Holy Shift Kid's advice. You know, top Brigitte, top 500 Brigitte in North America. His advice is, you see Blade, right? Wait till it's coming on, probably on you or another support. Shield bash backward and then whip shot him away. It's pretty much the best you can do. I think that's reasonable. I don't think there's a lot more that you could do in this situation. I definitely do not want to die to the Genji, right? I want to make sure, absolutely sure he doesn't kill me. If I can save a teammate, great. But I think shield bashing this way, shield bashing backwards. I think this way is not so good because this is still like kind of closer to him. I want to be more than 1 dash away if I can be, right? If I shield bash out this way, he probably can't reach me. He can run at me, but I can then get the whip shot off. So you just stare at him. Instead, you try to bash and you try to fight him. Extremely lucky to get this kill. Extremely lucky to get this kill. Wow, that blade swing was coming for you and gets canceled? Yeah, I think the animation was coming towards you for the kill, but your whip shot hits him and kills him. So it works out in this situation. I don't know if this is consistent, right? But I think, you know, it's because like it works out here. I don't know that I can conclusively say that this is the wrong call, right? Just like being like, oh, everyone just like group up and try to kill him quickly. I think that it was just as likely that he kills you there and then resets and then kills everybody. But also he's diving into your team with no support help, so which is pretty unusual. It's like really weird to see that happen. But I think at higher ranks, I mean, probably the big difference here is how good is the enemy Genji, right? GM Genjis don't do that. They don't try to dive 3 people with, 4 people with 2 supports there with no help from their team, without a naked blade, with no nano or anything like that, right? So generally, if I see Genji blading, I'm going to expect that he's going to get massive value out of it unless I can change the circumstances of the fight. Me trying to just burn him down is not something that is likely to change that outcome, in my opinion. Anyway, all right. So Genji's dead. All right, you've lost your Pharah here. And then right here, you're going to pack the Sojourn, who's at full health, by the way. Just about full health. Yeah, she's yeah, full health, right? You turn, Mercy's already healing. This is a bad pack, obviously. I mean, this is a terrible pack. This shield bash is really bad. I don't see a reason why you would want to do this at all. Because it's not like you're going to step on point and pressure it anyway, right? Your team has to get kills, like you got to fight for space, you got to burn resources. Walking on the point does nothing right now. All you got to do is just play regular, right? Play behind your Junker Queen, let your Junker Queen make the play here. You shield bashing forward suddenly puts you in the front line, right? And then you take a ton of damage here. And now you play super safe, that forces the Mercy to heal you instead of damage boosting like anyone else, which is a mistake, right? Your Mercy should be following the Sojourn here, who's on an off angle and could get picks. But instead she's forced to heal you because you made a mistake. Like, this is not what you can be doing. Like, this is not your job, right? You gotta just figure out, like, hey, what's my job here? Shield bashing forward. Again, like, not your job here to shield bash forwards. Though it's actually gonna work out here because the mace can come for a wall, but I don't think you knew this was gonna happen, right? I think you could have just chilled there, like, walked forwards, right? Gotten ready to react to whatever ends up happening. So, wall's gonna happen. Now, what is the correct call here with wall? As mentioned earlier, you need to save your tank. Nothing else here matters. You don't need to save the Sojourn. You don't need to save the Mercy. Not a problem. You need to save your tank. You already got lucky that you got wall on top. You got sat under the wall, right? The wall's under top of you. Sit on the top. Just look down, right? Whip shot her away. Do whatever. Just chill here. Kill your Junker Queen if you need to. Literally impossible for you to die right now, right? Just sit up here. You're in no danger whatsoever. Just throw your shield up. Whatever. You're good. Instead, you drop off. You throw another pack to the Sojourn, who, by the way, is again basically full health when you throw it. So, looking up top. So, you throw it, and I think she's missing, like, 50-ish health. She's missing 75 health, so I understand why you threw the pack. But regardless, she doesn't really need the pack, because she's being healed by Mercy, and she's safe here, right? My perspective, my sole focus should be looking at the Junker Queen, making sure the Junker Queen doesn't die here. So instead, you're on the opposite side of the wall, Junker Queen gets burned down and killed. You could easily have saved the Junker Queen here, right? You have 3 packs, which is what, 125 each, is it? 125 and 150, let's say 125. That's 375 healing right here to the Junker Queen, not including Inspire healing, which 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Plus at least 2 more seconds with the packs you would have give. That's 6 seconds of Inspire, so that would have been, what, another 75 health? That's plenty of healing, right? Like, Junker Queen would 100% have lived here. You know, certainly enough time to get Shout, which would have for sure caused her to live. So this is a mistake by you, right? Like, I know you see, like, oh, she got walled, but, like, you got walled in a position where you could have helped her, but your instinct was bad, right? Because you get lifted, all you had to do is just keep your Junker Queen alive. But for the record, if you're playing where I was back here, you truly could not have done anything about it, right? So it's kind of lucky that you just shield bashed forwards. But the thing is, this is a problem where we're running Brig and Mercy. Like, what are you going to do about this? You don't have the tools to deal with this problem. Right? She gets walled off. I mean, yeah, like, what are you going to do? It doesn't matter if you're the best Brig in the world. Like, you literally can't do anything in that situation. So, you come out. Obviously, she's walled again. You can't get through the wall in time, and she's going to die. Which is a mistake by her, clearly. But, again, you just don't have the tools to deal with the situation. Alright, you're just chilling. I would be looking to, again, Whip Shot, Inspire. I want to farm Rally here again. Now, your tank has gone ball, which is interesting, right? This is not a last-second stall. There's still at least one more fight left in the game. And I'm willing to bet that your tank is not good at ball, would be my guess, right? It is unlikely when you play in Masters Plus that people usually start the games playing their best hero. And when they swap, it's usually to a hero they're not as good at. The reason being is you get to Masters because you try to climb, and people who are trying to climb or play their best heroes. So the moment your tank goes ball, most likely because they don't get healing, because they're getting walled off, or just not getting healing in general, both of which are sort of true, your chance of winning the game goes down significantly. Because they're probably playing a hero which is they're worse at versus a hero they're better at, which is, let's say, Junker Queen, right? Or maybe another hero, I don't know, right? But based on the information, generally when I see these switches, they're usually bad if it feels like they're happening because of healing, which is your problem for letting them die repeatedly in savable situations. Again, I think it would have been better to run Brig Bat from the start here, but even as Brig, I think Brig could have worked if you hadn't made multiple mistakes. Again, I think the game would have been won if you just stayed alive on point. But from here, the good news is, now your team needs way less healing. The problem is, who are you playing Brig against now? The one hero that you were good at, Genji, has swapped to Soldier. So now, what do you do? Right? So look at this, right? The ball goes in, he slams. This is not a good, well-timed slam, right? Because he's probably not good. You try to bash here for the Kiriko, which is obviously never going to work. There's no way she'd be there unless she had an escape plan. I would never expect her to die here. I wouldn't even bother bashing or whip-shotting, honestly. I would just expect her to leave. So you do this, which pulls you out of position. You heal the ball. Okay, Rampage goes in. And once again, you're not playing a hero that can deal with this problem, right? You got everybody purple. If you were, for example, Baptiste, right? Obviously, could save people. Lucio beat. Zentrance might be able to save if they survive long enough. Even Lifeweaver, right? Like you got some options here, but it's another great example of where or a Kiriko, right? Kiriko, I was like, what's the one I'm really thinking? Kiriko, right, would be excellent here to cleanse this. Kiriko would be an excellent hero. Not saying that you necessarily play Kiriko, but just noting that other supports have tools to deal with this that you do not. You're just not good against this lineup at all. See, like you just stand here, people die, and then now you get walled off, and now you're gonna get killed. You're adding almost no value to your team, and as a result, your team is getting stomped. Is your team making mistakes? Absolutely, for sure. Team's making mistakes, for sure. All right, so we're going to go through second point pretty quickly because this is just kind of a one-sided roll. So note that your tank came out as Roadhog, which, again, signals to me that they don't feel like there's enough healing, which is funny because now your Mercy goes Moira, which also signals to me that your Mercy is probably a Mercy main. Moira is probably not a hero they feel as good at as Mercy, which means that your chance of winning has gone down because your teammates are swapping to heroes they're not as good at. Do I know that for sure? I don't. But I played a lot of Overwatch, and this is what it looks like to me, is that your team thinks there's not enough healing. So your tank swaps to less greedy tanks, and your other support swaps from what is probably their main hero to what is one of their lesser heroes, right? So the hero they have a lot less experience at. It's going to happen to work out in this point, but then on the next point, everything's going to fall apart. So, kind of do your best here to poke, right? They're running Genji, so you're good against that, right? Keeping the Hog alive, keeping Inspire up. Yeah, I mean, this is all pretty regular, and then your Hog's able to walk in, and things go well, and you roll them from here. Okay, great. So skipping forward, we'll watch the next fight. Rampage starts. Good job getting out of that with Shield Bash. I would have pre-healed this Sojourn right now. Like, the second she was going around the corner, I would have pre-healed her, because by the time the pack reaches her, it would have been healing. Like, you see that? Like, you healed after the purple ended. You got to have that instinct. Like, if you want to get the GM, like, you need that timing down exactly, so that the moment that purple's up, the pack is hitting her, not on the way. Because you see how close this was to killing her? Like, it was so close. Like, that little thing could be the difference between winning or losing a game, keeping your Sojourn up in that situation. I think you do a good job here maintaining the control, understanding that they're rotating on the left. Your Hog doesn't need help. I think this is a good play to whip shot her back. I think it's a bad play for you to charge forwards, right? I don't think that was necessary, but and that's fine, right? Again, you're using your Shield Bash way too much for damage. Way too much for damage. All right, you pop Rally here, which I think is a reasonable situation. Things are getting a little tight. Your team gets a pick. Ironically, this is a time where I think it would have been okay to go in. Knowing that the Hog is behind you, right, and your team, I actually think it would have been okay to engage here on the rest of the team. Right? I think rotating to left here was actually a mistake. There's nothing on the left side, right? And you see the Hog gets the hook in on the Queen, but you managed to get the back line anyway, which is great. I don't think you really want to whip shot there. Right? I just keep swinging right now. Like, I just go in, right? Just go. Like, you're impossible to get one shot here because of the rally. Right? Just go in, swing, swing, swing. Like, hit both of them. Swing, 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 over and over again. At the minimum, peel both of them way around this corner, and then turn back for the rest of the team. So right here, you're going to throw a pack, but you see the Sojourn right here. The pack should have been the Sojourn. It does actually get to her, even though it looked like you didn't. Okay, yep, you're good. So you see the Sojourn. You should. So remember now that you actually lost the player. Now that you're running Moira, your job is to heal the DPS, not the tank. Right? Let the Moira deal with the tank. Your job is to heal the Sojourn. I'm surprised you guys won this even down player. Alright, things go well. Your DPS rejoins. So, they're going to pop all their ultis, which makes sense because they've been saving them for a while. You whip shot out, which is great. Or charge out. I think you lose track of the Genji. So you hear it, so I hear it sounds right, and I would assume high because it's a Genji. So I would turn right and then look up. Oh, there he is. You should be looking for this right now. See, you're not looking for it at all. Like, you're really confused where the Genji is, but I feel like from the audio, it's very obvious to me where the Genji is. But it's a good whip shot. Again, I have no idea why this Genji keeps trying to naked blade you guys. Like, this is not good. This does not look like a Master's Genji to me. This Genji looks like he is throwing. But anyway, you knock him back. So I'd be looking. I saw him miss that first swing. Second swing's going to the Moira. I pack the Moira right now, preemptively. That's an instinct that you need to have. This pack should already be this far about to hit the Moira when this blade swing comes in. Right? That's important, right? You just don't have that like higher level Brig instinct and understand like preemptively where the damage is coming from. By the way, when I turn and I see right here, you're gonna see that the Ana's on your right here on the side of your screen. I immediately shield, right, and then walk backwards because I'm looking for the grenade and want to block it. She sees 3 people here. I think grenade is coming. Like, just from a lot of instinct of the hours of Overwatch, I look at this and I think, Ana grenade is coming right now. Right? But then you turn away, makes the grenade really easy. Let's actually look where the grenade lands. Well, I don't see a grenade splash. I literally do not see this grenade splash. What the heck? Oh, because there is no grenade. That's why, because it's coming from Rampage. Okay, never mind. The Ana was 1 second away from grenade anyway, though. So, regardless, Rampage popped. I would immediately shield bash this way to try to get out of it. But you take damage here, but you didn't shield bash out of the way. I mean, it's tough. I mean, definitely timing's really tight there, but that would have been the optimal play there. Coming forward with your team. So I don't think you want to play this door, right? You want to... Oh, you're walled off anyway, which is bad news. All right. Yeah, I mean, with the wall here, like, what are you going to do? The real question here is, like, your Roadhog's dead, I think, as you come up. Yeah, once your Roadhog's dead, I'd chill back here. I think we're not going to win this fight with the Roadhog anyway. So you walking forwards at, like, small step forwards is a mistake. That puts you out of position. Right? At this point, like, this should not be forwards. You should be going backwards, for sure. But regardless, I don't think there's any way you would have escaped out of this. I mean, we'll rather save your teammate and escaped out of this. So no matter what, this is going to end up being a stagger. All right, coming forwards. So Coalescence is pop. You pop the wall. All right, pack. You pop rally. You guys have decided to full commit on this fight, which is an interesting choice. I don't think this is actually a great idea versus trying to... Oh, you do an excellent job stunning this. I don't know if you realized that she was going to have ulti that fast. Because she just had ulti the fight before. So this is she did a really, really good job farming it. But you did an excellent job shutting down Junker Queen ulti for again, right? I think that's very uncommon to have that happen that consistently. So I don't know if you thought of it or not. I'm actually curious. I actually want to watch to see if I feel like you're... No, it looks like you're holding it for her. Yeah, it looks like you're holding it for her. It doesn't look accidental. So yeah, I mean, props to you. I think that's an excellent read. For sure, right? I think in a lot of situations that would be great. Unfortunately, you know, still doesn't help against the mate wall. All right, so let's watch final point. We're running Moira here. So wall goes off. You do a good job. This is the correct call, right? Stay on top of the wall. Now, things are going to go a little haywire here because your Moira is out of position. Your Moira is very out of position. So this is interesting because there's no reason for the Moira to be out of position. It looks like she's trying to flank and do like a DPS Moira play, but this is a mistake because the Moira needs to be pocketing the Zarya here or committing to the flank, right? Like, doing neither is definitely not valid, which makes me think, again, that your Moira does not have that many Moira hours. Like, this is a really weird situation for the Moira to be in. She had the ability to even take control of this room and hold this space. It is very much a mistake here for your Moira to be doing this, but I think it's caused as a chain reaction of you playing Brig. So you're going to stay on top of the wall. Honestly, I would even just drop here because, like, I would just drop to here and play here to make the whip shots easier and make it easier to respond. Because playing your life doesn't matter if the Zarya dies. If the Zarya dies, this fight's over. I have to keep the Zarya alive because my Moira, I can tell my Moira is not in position. So Moira's going to walk forward right now. She's leeching, which is incorrect. This should be a heal at this moment in time. There's like literally no reason for her to leech. I'm pretty sure she's at full or nearly full resources. Can't see more resources. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she's at full, right? So that's why it's not showing the bars, because she's literally at full resources. She doesn't need to be leeching right now. She should be healing and throwing a heal orb. And she does neither. She throws a damage orb. Yeah, this is very clearly not a Master's Moira. You know, like even this small segment, like so many things went wrong in like 5 seconds of play, right? She's out of position. She should have been healing the Zarya, and she should have thrown heal orb instead of damage orb. All those things that she just did were wrong. So that tells me not a Master's Moira player, which again leads me to believe that your teammates were switching because of your Brig pick. Now, again, you can't control what your teammates do, but if you were playing Brig better or not playing Brig with a Mercy, this might not have happened. And it's very rare, right, again, for me to tell people to switch. I'm not really telling you to switch, to be clear, right? Again, you could have played Brig better and have won this game. But if it's not a good situation to be playing Brig and you can't live up to that challenge, then yeah, maybe you should consider switching in that situation if you want to win the game. Because at this point, like, what are you going to do, right? You lost your Zarya, you lost the Moira. By the way, you should be packing the Moira right now, not the Zarya. Right, pack. And then right here with Bubble, the correct call is actually to pack the Moira here, weirdly enough. Because I should expect that the Moira was going to save the Zarya. But Moira's going to die right now, and then from here, everything's going to go haywire. You get a kill there, but like you don't deserve that. That's just random spam. Alright, you can come on again. Missing these Inspires is really bad. One of the things that most impressed me from watching Holy Shift Kid is Holy Shift Kid does not miss whip shots. Like, he hits like 90% plus of his whip shots in the game. It's like crazy. But you miss a lot more than that. I'd say you miss 30%-ish plus. I would say I miss probably half as many as you do, but still not as many as... still, I don't hit nearly as many as Holy Shift Kid. Like, relatively speaking, going 15 to 10 is like quite hard, right? That's missing, you know, 1/3 fewer whip shots on what is already a very tough number. So this is your whip shot accuracy needs to increase for more value in Brig. So I don't think that the shield charge away or shield bash away here is the right call. You have shield here anyway. I would stay for a second and see if I need to shield bash or not. But you just gave up right away. And now, because you gave up right away, you don't have the ability to help your Ramattra. Ramattra gets walled. Again, sort of your fault, sort of not your fault. You just don't have the tools here to really deal with this. But the good news is you managed to break the wall in time, save him. But the problem is you lost so much momentum, right? Ramattra's forced a Nemesis just to not die here. Oh, no, he Nemesis first, right? But he wastes the whole Nemesis trying to punch his way out, which was a good instinct by him. But now you're in bad position. When this Mei ulti comes, I would have actually bashed this way to be able to see the team and maybe be able to whip shot / save somebody. But here, especially without, yeah, obviously this fight's over. It's nothing you can do here. Mei's just so good against Brig. you just really lack the tools to deal with her. So you're gonna go in, right? You're trying to play up here. You pop rally here, which is a dangerous call, but I think it's okay. Like, you're at 65%. Like, you gotta try to make a play here. I would be careful about committing too much to the Junker Queen because you're already kind of low. You should be packing. Right? Look, you're at 3 packs. Your Ramattra's already at one quarter health. Yeah, it's like you wait way too long. You're like too aggressive. Like, you got to think about the packs, right? The packs are your damage, your flail does so little damage, right? It's 35 damage per swing. I think your damage per second is like 70. It's so poor. It's barely better than Winston's. So, yeah, I mean, definitely don't think about the damage that much. Saving people is far more important. Right? Wall goes off. You go for the Mei here. You could, I mean, I think it's okay actually. Obviously wall off's gonna happen again, and then the Ramattra's gonna die. If the Ramattra lives here, then the whole situation is different. But he's walled here. You have the opportunity to pack him right now, but the Mei's kind of in your face. I think I still would have looked for the heal, but your Ramattra backs off anyway, so there's nothing you could have done here. I think. Yeah, I mean, other than being another support, there's nothing you could do here. You're getting super aggro on the Junker Queen, despite the fact this fight feels over. I would reset and try to fight for last, right? You're gonna switch Kiriko at the end, but I'm pretty sure it's too late to do anything. What is this heal? Okay, so recapping. So first, just quickly on your Brig mechanics, I think that you aren't reserving Shield Bash enough to survive. I think you're shield bashing too aggressively, number one. Most obviously when you during rally on first map where you jumped at them and then died. So I think you're shield bashing too aggressively. I think your whip shot accuracy isn't high enough. I think you're not packing people soon enough, right? With the right timing. You're not predicting the damage well, and sometimes you have too many charges, and sometimes you overheal people with packs. So I think those are all things you need to clean up in order to get back to probably even mid-masters, much less getting back up to GM, mid-high masters. But as an overall theme, your bigger problems revolve around the fact that you're not playing the right hero that your team needs, which means that some games your chance of winning is going to be a lot lower, right? Like if they're running, Pharah, Echo, Mercy, Zen, Winston, whatever, right? Like you're just never going to be able to do anything. You're just going to sit there and be like, well, I'm just going to get poked to death, basically, right? Especially or like Sigma, right, instead of Winston. Like there are clearly lineups where Brig is not working. I think once you see the Mei, like after your first death, I think you could have strongly considered like swapping to another support. But beyond that, I mean, it's fine. I wouldn't say it's fine. I mean, like there are ways you could have won this game still as Brig. But I think it's important to note in general how your mistakes can snowball into your team's mistakes as well, right? Causing your team to switch to other heroes that we're pretty obviously less comfortable with to try to compensate for the fact that you're trying to open as Brig. So I think at a minimum, when you're starting the game, look to see whether or not your team is a lineup that makes sense with Brig. Right? If we look at the beginning game, watching the picks, right? It should be tank picks first. It should be tank picks first, right? Followed by supports and DPS, right? To fill it. Tank chooses the style, everybody else chooses around it. Choosing Brig first, if you want to climb to the highest ranks, is not a good idea unless you're going to get crazy good at Brig, right? Because you're going to be forcing Brig into difficult situations. It is possible. You can get to top 500 just one-tricking Brig, but it's not going to be easy, right? And you're going to take way more effort than you've just learned how to pick accordingly, right? The reality is, like, for most of the videos, I'm like, look, anybody can win this game because you just have better mechanics decision making. But in this game in particular, getting walled off was a huge problem. There's not a lot that you could do as Brig in that situation, right? And so yeah, I mean, you could just take the L. If you play enough games, you're good enough, like you'll climb, but it takes way more games. If you're like, look, if I just go Baptiste here, we're good to go, right? A lot of these problems get solved. But yeah, I mean, definitely seeing that you force this first along with Surgeon, I think is no good. Once you see the Mercy pick, you have 24 seconds left. You got plenty of time to be like, I don't want to play Brig into this, right? Which I think is fair. Right? Again, I think if you could tried it, right? But I think after the first death, I would have strongly considered swapping. Understanding the Mei is always going to be a problem as long as we're running Junker Queen. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully this is helpful.